Hi, I'm Cherie Yanek, Churchill Librarian, and I am super excited to read to you one of my favorite fairy tales. It's such, it really is one of my favorite fairy tales, and I tell you that because I actually was the main character for Halloween once. Yes, I was Little Red Riding Hood. I had a little red hood, I had a basket. I think I even had some muffins in my basket, and I kind of skipped around a lot. That was a really fun Halloween. So today we are going to read James Marshall's version of Red Riding Hood. James Marshall is a fantastic children's author. If you haven't checked out his other books, I highly recommend them. So let's dive in. Red Riding Hood. A long time ago, in a simple cottage beside the deep, dark woods, there lived a pretty child called Red Riding Hood. She was kind and considerate, and everybody loved her. One afternoon, Red Riding Hood's mother called to her. "Granny isn't feeling up to snuff today," she said, "so I've baked her favorite custard as a little surprise. Be a good girl and take it to her, will you?" Red Riding Hood was delighted. She loved going to Granny's, even if it meant crossing the deep, dark woods. Dun, dun, dun. When the custard had cooled, yum, Red Riding Hood's mother wrapped it up and put it in a basket. "Now, whatever you do," she said, "go straight to Granny's. Do not tarry. Do not speak to any strangers." "Yes, Mamma," said Red Riding Hood. Before long, she was in the deepest part of the woods. "Ooh," she said, "this is scary. And take a look. Notice if you notice somebody hiding behind a tree." See right by my finger? Yep, let's see who that is. Suddenly a large wolf appeared. "Good afternoon, my dear," he said. "Care to stop for a little chat?" "Oh, gracious me," said Red Riding Hood. "Mamma said not to speak to any strangers." She probably should not have said that to the wolf. You'll see why in a little bit, right? But the wolf had such charming manners. "And where are you going, sweet thing?" he said. "I'm on my way to visit Granny, who lives in the pretty yellow house on the other side of the woods," said Red Riding Hood. "She's feeling poorly, and I'm taking her a surprise." "You don't say," said the wolf. Just then he had a delightful idea. "No reason why I can't eat them both," he thought. "Allow me to escort you," he said. "You never know what might be lurking about." "You're too kind," said Red Riding Hood. Beyond the forest they came to a patch of sunflowers. "Why not pick a few?" suggested the wolf. "Grannies love flowers, you know." But while Red Riding Hood was picking a pretty bouquet, the clever wolf hurried on ahead to Grandma's home. Also, I have to say, I love that the wolf in this version of Little Red Riding Hood is wearing this kind of sun hat. Never seen a wolf wearing a sun hat before, but hey. "Who is it?" called out Granny. "It is I, your delicious, darling granddaughter," said the wolf in a high voice. "The door is unlocked," said Granny. You can see Granny's feet are sticking up right here in bed. "Surprise!" called the wolf. Granny was furious at having her reading interrupted. "Get out of here, you horrid thing," she cried. I have to say, this is what I look like when I'm sick. I have a pile of books all around me, just reading my time away. But the wolf gobbled her right up. He didn't even bother to chew. "Tasty," he said, patting his belly. So tasty. Just then, he heard footsteps on the garden path. "Here comes dessert." And losing no time, he put on Granny's cap and glasses, jumped into bed, and pulled up the covers. So you can see her books are all to the side, knocked off. "Who is it?" he called out in his sweetest Granny voice. "It is I, your little granddaughter," said Red Riding Hood. "The door is unlocked," said the wolf. Red Riding Hood was distressed at seeing her grandmother so changed. I have to say, looking at the grandmother now, or the grandmother, quote unquote, compared to what she looked like before, definitely looks pretty different. "Why, Granny," she said, "what big eyes you have." "The better to see you, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, what long arms you have." "The better to hug you, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, What big teeth you have! "They're better to eat you, my dear!" cried the wolf. All right, that's something that grandmothers generally do not say. So let's see what happens next. And he gobbled her right up. "I'm so wicked, he said. But he was really enormously pleased with himself. And having enjoyed such a heavy meal, he was soon snoring away. A hunter passing by was alarmed by the frightful racket. "That doesn't sound like Granny," he said. And so the brave hunter jumped in the window, killed the sleeping wolf, and cut him open. Out jumped Granny and Red Riding Hood. "We're ever so grateful," said Red Riding Hood. "That wicked wolf won't trouble you any more," said the hunter. "It was so dark in there I couldn't read a word," said Granny. Red Riding Hood promised never ever to speak to another stranger, charming manners or not. And she never did. Looks like she finally learned. So that was James Marshall's version of Red Riding Hood. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I like this story. Thanks for listening and keep on reading.